Good evening, ghouls and ghoulettes. My name is Maggie, and I'm here with Drew and Ariel tonight for our very first episode. A little about the three of us behind the mic. Ariel and I have been best friends since 6th grade, and then Drew came along and married my nutty ass back in 2022 and completed our pod. So now we're 3 Ps and one cozy, spooky pod. I am a pharmacy technician by day and a mother to a beautiful baby boy by night. The case that pulled me to the dark side was definitely the toy box killer. And when I'm not catching up on true crime, working, or taking care of my little crotch goblin, I enjoy reading, knitting, and catching up with my Bachelor Nation shows. Now I'm going to pass the goblet over to Drew.
Hey, what's up? I'm Drew, the husband. I'm a diesel technician by day and a kick-ass dad by night. I'm a pretty simple dude. I love metal and punk and pretty much anything music. And I'd say my favorite true crime story is ed-gein. Now I'm going to pass the fog light to Ariel.
Hey, it's Ariel, the bestie. I'm a fraud analyst by day, gamer by night, and the best aunt ever. My favorite true crime is the Menendez brothers. I enjoy K-pop, video games, anime, and being a free clown. And you're listening to Cheese for Thought Podcast. Please like and follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Cheese for Thought Podcast. Okay, so my name is Ariel, and tonight we will be talking about the Butcher of Plainfield, also known as Drew's favorite serial killer, ed-gein. Ed Theodore Gein was born August 27th, 1906 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. His parents are George and Augusta Gein. Quite the name there. Mm-hmm. His parents both had their own fair share of issues. George was an angry alcoholic, and Augusta was one of those overly religious mothers. Their marriage was doomed from the start. George had a horrible self-esteem, and Augusta constantly reminded him of what a failure he was.
All right.
Yeah, love that.
Relatable.
Yeah, relatable.
A little close to home for these two. George's drinking got so out of control, and Augusta believed it was her job to instill religion on everyone she came across.
That's the smart thing to do. Just throw religion at people, right?
No, for sure.
It gets worse. She was very against sex before marriage, and then after marriage, she believed it was strictly only for procreation.
Well, I'm out.
Augusta also believed that all humans were born full of sins and immortal actions. She believed that all humans deserved to be burned in hell. Oh, God, I just had a stroke there. She believed that
Are you okay?
No. She believed that all humans deserved to be burned in hell. It became her obsession, and she was taught this from her own parents. George and Augusta had their first son, Henry, in 1901. George was in between jobs constantly because of his alcoholism, and Augusta ran a small local grocery store. She started resenting George more and more and would pray for his death.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Her religious beliefs made it impossible for her to divorce him, so that was not an option. After Henry, she prayed that she would have a daughter this time because of how much she started to hate men. Can relate.
Yeah, why do you guys hate men so much?
You guys are a lot.
No. That's not true. Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, so she had prayed that she would have a daughter this time. That didn't happen. Instead, they had Ed. She thought Ed would be different. She told everyone that Ed would be different. Augusta didn't want Ed to be a failure like his father, so she raised him with harsh overprotection and extreme barriers. She taught her sons that women were evil and vessels of sin. And she also never showed any sort of affection to either of her sons as they grew up.
That's the way to go. Never show love, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna do with our son.
Absolutely not. No, we're gonna love him to death.
When Ed was around 9 years old, the family packed up and moved to Plainfield, Wisconsin, to a farm. The boys worked insanely hard on the farm and were isolated to themselves. They were only allowed to leave the farm to go to and from school. Augusta would not allow her sons to make any friends. And she actually disciplined them too if she found out they were talking to any boys at school.
That's kind of shitty. I mean, like, how can he's like, you don't have any friends because Jesus says no or some shit, right? Wasn't she said she was a Jesus freak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did not have friends.
Yeah.
Kind of shitty. Like,
Yeah.
God's your only friend.
Yeah. And she wanted her sons to strictly only rely on her. She wanted them to believe that she was their only friend.
That's fucked up.
That is bad.
That's
yeah.
fucked. Like,
you would want your sons
yeah.
to
Why
leave,
would you want your
to leave the nest and
No,
yeah.
she wanted them to never leave. So the boys only had each other. This led to extreme bullying at school to Ed, and Ed and Henry were forced to get jobs at young ages to help out around the house. They took on handyman jobs, and Ed actually got into babysitting.
Wait, why would she want him to get jobs? Because wouldn't he like meet friends?
Well,
at his job, like why wouldn't you? If you want them to rely on you,
hey man, I didn't write the facts.
I know back then it was common for like kids to work. So like, cause they wanted like back then everyone in the family contributed to like money,
right? But
because
she wanted them to
scarce
depend on
back
her.
then. Yeah.
So why let them
guess.
work? That's interesting.
I'm
That's
assuming
very
probably.
interesting.
I think it's like a control aspect. I think it's because she's like, well, you're gonna be working hard. I'm taking your money, and that's that.
Yeah.
And then like she wanted him to babysit too, which I thought was interesting too, because if she didn't want him around other kids, she let him watch kids though.
Very odd.
So it's like it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's like it's contraindicating. It like doesn't make any sense.
But he made those dollars working.
Yeah. Monday.
So
what did he do? Do you like?
It said that he actually learned how to like install windows. He could fix roofs, paint, all for that.
Nice.
So
Contractor.
he like did like everything.
So he wasn't a piece of shit his whole life.
It depends on what you define as a piece of shit, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is actually interesting too. He also didn't make it past an 8th grade education.
Oh, I know that was common too. Like they didn't finish school
I actually
back
knew
then.
that about ed-gein, surprisingly enough.
Well, fuck this whole podcast, right? I mean,
well, if you're a true crime, fanatic, you
That's
should
true.
know, you should know this stuff. Some of it. I mean, I don't remember everything, so.
So then also too, as we probably assumed here, Augusta was verbally abusive to both of her sons. She constantly pointed out every single mistake Ed made and would constantly call him stupid.
Hell yeah.
So then we're just going to fast forward to when Ed was 36 in 1940 when his dad passed away from congestive heart failure at the age of 66.
Wow.
That's young.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again too, I think that's like older back then. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well, I feel like 66 was still young. That's still young.
But like 1940, I mean, that was...
I mean, the war was going on in the 40s, and like people weren't like. It's not like it was like the 1500s when the plague was going on and people were dying at 30.
I mean, oh shit, we're almost 30.
I am 30,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you are 30 too.
Yeah.
So you'll be 30 pretty soon.
It's actually funny you mentioned the war too, because he actually was drafted, but
Shit! Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was actually drafted, but he ended up having a growth on his eye, so he did not qualify to go into World War II.
Interesting.
He probably would have been great
Exactly.
in the war.
It makes you think if he was actually drafted, what would have actually happened? This
Yeah,
never
for
would
sure.
have happened.
I would have been like, you know what? You're great at killing
Maybe
people.
something worse would have happened.
You're awesome at it.
Here's an award for the first time in your life.
Yeah. I don't know why you're so good at it, but you're a great.
Your mom's
good.
Augusta?
Yeah,
Never mind.
I'm out.
But so then, after his dad passed, he began working handyman jobs again, as well as babysitting, even at 36.
That's kind of creepy.
But this is before anything happened, so everybody thought nothing had happened, so nobody thought anything of it.
Yeah.
It's just this guy babysitting. But they also think too, because of the fact that he dropped out of school in 8th grade, and that his mom was so verbally abusive that it stunted his emotional and mental growth. So he was
that would
stuck
make sense.
as being a child. So he could relate to children more than he could to adults.
Okay, that makes sense.
That
but,
100% does make sense.
yeah, but what did the parents be like? All right, there's a 33-year-old going to babysit, but he has the same mentality as our 12-year-old.
I personally wouldn't allow it. I would be like,
Yeah, that's
I'll
a great
choose another
fit.
sitter.
How much does he cost? Well, you pay him in crayons. He's happy.
And apparently paint for windows. I don't know. But yeah, so it was well known that Ed actually loved the kids and being with them. It was, like I said, it was believed that he got along with them because of his stunted emotional, mental, and social growth. So after his dad had passed, Ed and Henry began butting heads over Augusta. Ed was weirdly obsessed with his mother and her teachings, and Henry was very vocal about how much he hated Augusta, and was trying to convince Ed to see it from his perspective. So, it is believed that this conversation that they had is what kind of broke their brotherhood. Because 4 years later, in 1944, a fire broke out at the Gein farm. Ed said he was burning brush and the fire got out of control. When the flames were extinguished, he was not able to find Henry, so he called the local fire department, and when they arrived, he told them that he had no idea where his brother was. However, he was able to lead them right to his face-down brother's body.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. There we go again. I mean, like, the guy that gets paid in crayons knows where the body is, but he said he didn't know where it was or how it happened.
Yeah, and Henry's body had no burn marks or any sign of being in the fire. He had bruises on the back of his head, though, as if he was possibly struck with something.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the brother did it.
When questioned about this, Ed's response was, "Funny how that works."
Yeah, I'll say funny. Real hysterical.
They didn't bat no eye at it or nothing? They were just like...
The cops ruled Henry's death as an accidental asphyxiation.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Henry was only 43 when he had died.
So they literally just let it just go under the water? Nothing.
He was never prosecuted for his brother's
They
death.
didn't look into it or nothing.
No.
Wow. They really dropped the ball there.
And still to this day, there's speculation that he did it, but just to be clear, he was never charged with that.
Wow.
Jeez.
So we're going to flash forward a year. In 1945, Augusta began having strokes. So she relied heavily on Ed to take care of her. Ed worshipped the ground that his mother walked on. He never moved out, never dated, never went out with friends. Augusta actually told him that if he ever lost his virginity, it meant that he never loved her.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Oh my God, this is
What
so...
the fuck?
You can't fuck your son. Why? What the hell? What is wrong with this woman?
She was faking strokes just to get that out of him. Like, I'm faking a stroke so I can stroke you.
Oh my God!
I never understand that. Like, what is the big...
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it was at this moment when... So then she ended up having another stroke in December, and this one was fatal.
That was the deal breaker?
It was the deal breaker.
That was the one that did it?
Yep. So when Augusta
So she
died...
wasn't faking.
No.
She still wanted the stroke, though.
She wasn't faking them.
So when Augusta died, Ed became extremely unhinged and demented. So if you thought he was twisted already, it's about to get worse, so buckle up. He was on his own for the first time in his life, and I mean completely alone. He boarded up Augusta's room when she passed away to keep it preserved, almost like a shrine. He left his own room spotless, but the rest of the house became dirty and cluttered, and Augusta kept the house spotless 24/7. Before Augusta passed away, she was entirely bedridden. She had spiraling mood swings that Ed was left to deal with alone. She continued to verbally assault him and then would change her mood and then ask him to sleep in the same bed with her.
What? Again, what is wrong with this woman?
She abused him up until the day that she died. Constantly telling him how pathetic he was, how worthless he was.
Yeah, but he had like a thing for his mom, but she was like batshit crazy and hated him.
I don't know if he had like a
I
sexual
feel like he
thing
was
towards his mom.
groomed to feel that way.
Oh, yeah.
I think like he was so
He was just molded
abused.
molded into this ball his whole life.
Right. Yeah.
Still, like, look at like Stockholm syndrome. You know, like when someone kidnaps a person and then the person falls in love with them.
Basically the same. Yeah,
it's basically the same thing. So Ed went his entire life believing his mother, with the words that she said, that women were lustful vessels of sin. He believed any feelings of desire or sex were to be forbidden and avoided. She often told him that, she was the only woman that he was allowed to love. After his mother had passed and was buried, Ed had started doing his grave robberies.
Well, he better not have fell in love with a woman after she died, because she's probably going to haunt his ass.
I don't think he ever...
Till the day he fucking dies, too.
I don't think I ever heard of him, like, ever falling in love with a woman, or...
No.
They never found him,
I think his mom was the only woman that he ever loved. Because she made it that way. He was afraid to venture out and be on his own, because she convinced him at a young age that the world was evil. And the only safe place for him was at home, with her.
I guess, but...
I mean, the world is evil.
I'll
be the first to say that, but not...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's taking it too far.
So, he started doing his grave robberies in several cemeteries nearby. He went for victims that resembled his mother the most.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I want to make a mask
This
of my
I feel
mom.
I knew. I think I knew this. Yeah.
Hey man, I think you did some research here. he used these remains to make furniture, clothing, a woman's skin suit made after his mother.
Why? What?
Did he wear it?
He
Oh
did.
my God.
He did. He wore it around his house.
What the fuck? Like, my mom didn't love me, so I'm gonna make a skin suit of someone else's skin. Like, I'm not comfortable with my own skin. I want to wear someone else's skin because I hate myself.
But in his mind, his mom did love him.
Yeah, right.
Like, to us, it seems like smothered, but like, she didn't have a good way of showing she loved him.
I don't care what the fuck happens to you. I don't want to wear a skin suit of someone else. Like, you know, this is gonna sound fucked up, but like, the time it would...
Oh, this is gonna sound fucked up.
Like, the time it would make to, like, make a skin suit out of someone, like, I mean, I guess it's like...
He obviously passed crafting, clearly, in sewing. Okay?
Right.
Let's give the man
Home
some
ec.
credit here.
Got an A.
Grade, you're like, you're really good at crafting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna start grave robbing and making fucking skin suits when I get older because my 8th grade teacher told me I was good at crafting.
Oh my
He
God.
must have really excelled at summer camp.
He was on at summer camp. So after he lost his interest in grave digging, he moved on to the physical world. So miscellaneous people started going
like alive people, like people that weren't dead. Is that
no,
what you
like I mean, like he got sick of like grave digging and cutting up their bodies. He wanted to go for someone alive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So miscellaneous people started going missing around town. Nobody really linked it to him. Nobody really thought of him. But in 1954, 50-year-old Mary Hogan went missing from her bar that she ran.
Let me guess, she looked like his mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ed frequented that bar. So the cops were called when other customers showed up to the bar and found it empty. Nothing would come from this case until 1957. So he was off the hook here for 3 years.
Wow. Can you imagine living 3 years, like, in your head that you killed someone? I guess, but if you're as fucked up as him, you're probably not looking at it that way.
No, to him it was probably normal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need a fresh body to love like my mom.
Is Ed-gein here?
Yeah.
He's in you.
Put the Ouija board away, you sick fucks. All right. So then nothing came of it until 1957 when 58-year-old Bernice Worden went missing after being robbed at her hardware store. So the cash register was missing and there was a trail of blood leading out to the back. This is where Ed had shot her and dragged her body on a sled to his house where he later decapitated and cut open her body.
Nice.
So this was the first victim, right?
No, this is
Second.
Second.
First one was back in 1954. This one's
And that's when he got away. Okay, and then he got 3 years.
Right.
Okay.
So Bernice's son, Frank, who was also the sheriff's deputy, was suspicious of Ed because others had reported seeing Bernice last with him. So the same day, Ed was later arrested at his neighbor's house. The police then went inside his home to look around. This is where they found the head of Bernice in a bag, her heart in another bag, and her cut open, upside-down body swinging from the ceiling.
Like a gut in a deer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you imagine walking in on
No,
that?
hell no. Walking in and there's just
Oh
like
my
a
God.
fucking body hanging from the rafters.
I couldn't even imagine being that detective.
The more they looked around, the worse it got. They found a belt made of human nipples.
So I don't laugh at that. The way you said nipples. I don't know.
It's not funny.
It's
I know,
not
I know
funny.
what
It's
you're
not
saying.
funny.
It's not
But like a belt made out of nipples.
Yeah, human.
This is going to sound like really descriptive and kind of gross, but were like the belt holes, like, did they poke through the nipples?
No, it was like
My brain's really weird.
No, it's like so the actual like thing.
I know, I was just
areola-
trying, my brain's...
Yeah, like he cut like the whole thing, and they were all connected and stuff. I mean, yeah, it was pretty gruesome. I saw a picture of this, and he made bowls out of skulls. He had a pair of lips on a cord.
I wonder
to
if he
pull the
ate out
windows
of the
closed.
bowls.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure he
he
did.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, she said that he made fucking utensils
Yeah, he made everything,
out of bone.
and he had lips.
I feel like that's not as bad as eating bowls made out of skin. That's just that.
No, it was a skull.
Skull.
Yeah, but
Either way.
But the utensils were made from human bone, and he was eating with them out of the skulls.
I just hope the bones were cleaned of all the flesh well enough. Like that.
I don't think he cared.
Like you think he got a bottle of
That's
Febreze
true.
and like soaked this shit in there or something?
I'm gonna let this soak like a casserole dish. I'm gonna let this soak for a few days.
He didn't have Dawn Extreme or whatever that spray stuff
A
is.
few days. We never
let
have
it soak.
dishes in the sink overnight. What do you mean a few days?
So he also had lips on a cord to pull the windows closed. He had a ton of organs and jars everywhere, and he had quite the stash of women genitalia.
If you could see my face right now, that's so gross.
The women genitalia was what got me there too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he kept
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I knew about like the forks and like that stuff, but the women genitalia to keep that's kind of like he had an obsession with.
Yeah.
Like the mystery of it, because he said he was a virgin.
Yeah, right.
So
and the thing is too is like after his mama died too, he started getting into like anatomy books and everything like that. So it's like he started reading up on this stuff, and it just like kind of spiraled after that.
Yeah.
He never assaulted his victims, did he?
From what I've seen, no.
Okay.
I did see on some sources say here that he did do necrophilia with the dead victims, but I saw a lot of other ones that said that wasn't true.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's like people are 50-50 here, that they either said that he had done things with the victims when they were dead, but he never did anything while they were alive.
Did he ever admit to it?
So he did admit to it, actually, so that brings us to our next point here. So Ed was 51 when he admitted to the murders of both of these women and the grave robbing. He admitted that he killed these women strictly because they resembled his mother. So in a way, it's like...
So he did resent her.
In a way, I feel like, yeah.
Deep down, I think he did. That's why he did all this, because he never had closure. So I think that just like tripped a wire in his head.
And I feel like he felt so abandoned that he was mad at his mother for abandoning him alone because he wasn't allowed to make any other sort of connection. So when she left, he literally had no one.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
So then this brings us to November 16th, 1957. Ed was arrested the same day Bernice went missing, as I had said. On November 21st, 1957, Ed was held in Washara County on one count of first-degree murder. He entered a non-guilty plea, claiming insanity. In January of 1958, Ed is found unfit to stand trial, and he's diagnosed with schizophrenia. He is then committed to Central State.
Do you think he actually was schizophrenic?
Based on some sources I saw, it said that he did admit to even hearing voices as a child, too, in his head that weren't actually there.
Okay.
But...
You think it was like his mom talking to him?
I don't know.
I don't know if I don't know exactly how schizophrenia works, but like, I don't know if it like subconsciously makes like
whose voice you actually hear.
Yeah, like your brain subconsciously makes the voice that you want to hear do something in the past, or like parts of you that you're not even thinking about, because the brain's like they don't know everything about the brain. I don't think.
Right.
Or like how subconscious works, and so I wonder if it was like himself not knowing, like making the voice of his mom or something.
Well, they even say like with people too. Some people can't even hear their own voice in their head.
Like they don't have their own dialogue.
Yeah, they don't even
like
have
they don't have like an inner monologue. So it's just like, what do you hear? Nothing, like crickets or something. Like how do you think?
Right.
Like you're thinking of a plan in your head. Like how did they
not
do that? Or
I don't even know if when I think if it has my voice tied to it. I don't.
Like you don't hear nothing.
But my brain constantly races. But when it's thinking, it's not in my voice. It's like just like it's literally like a to-do list. But like I'm not reading it. It's just.
So you don't hear yourself thinking in your own head?
No.
What? Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I hear my own.
Yeah, I hear my own. Yeah. I wonder.
So you might be one of the special people that can't hear their own voice.
Well, I wonder if it's off of like. If it has anything to do with left-handed, because me and you are left-handed.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're right. I don't know if it's like left side thinking.
So clearly that means that we're right.
Even though we're left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we should stick with it.
That's fine.
And we're not editing this out.
No, it's okay.
No.
Everyone I love has left hands. It's true.
I think everyone has a left hand.
Is your dad left-handed?
No, but Steffi is.
Steffi is?
Yeah, my sister.
So, so then he's diagnosed with schizophrenia. He's then committed to Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane in Waupun, Wisconsin.
Waupun?
So, in March of 1958, the Gein farm was burned down.
Did he sneak out and burn it and then like plant someone that didn't have anything, no burn marks on them?
No.
Bring him? No, okay.
No, that was left in the past.
Yeah, okay. Well, was with him.
Come on, Drew. We're moving past that now.
Ed was completely unfazed by hearing this news. It's almost like he didn't care at all.
It was like he was almost happy. That,
he had
his
no
childhood shithole of the house is gone. I wonder if he did it for attention. Like
what?
He was hoping to get caught.
You think he burned the house?
No. Like killing people.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
Obviously it was some fucked up shit that he was like trying to resolve. But I wonder if he was like hoping to get caught. So,
after that first one, he went 3 years without killing another person, allegedly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think he just thought he was going to get away with it. I think he would have kept going.
I think so too.
I don't know.
I think so too. If her son didn't realize that she was gone and reported his mom missing or whatever, and he wasn't a sheriff deputy, I definitely feel like he probably would have done it again.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
So he would have just found another woman that looked like his mother.
Exactly.
But he also
There's tons out there, I'm sure.
He drove too.
But they said he had the mentality of a 12-year-old. You know how like little kids like think they can
There's kids that murder.
Yeah, they can get away with anything.
Yeah,
like they think if they like, I ate a whole pack of cookies and I'm trying to lie to my
Everyone's
mom and
done
dad.
that, all right?
But
I
then
feel
they
like
hide
eating
it
a pack of cookies and killing people is completely different.
Yeah, but then they'll hide it in their bed thinking like no one's ever going to find it. You know, maybe
Okay,
that was...
I do see the correlation.
Yeah, and he's like, they said he had a mentality of a 12-year-old, so maybe he thought like, I'm never going to get caught. Because little kids think that. They don't think they're going to get caught.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He thought that. That's why he kept killing. Because he thought he would keep getting
Yeah,
away
he thought he
with
was
it.
unstoppable, yeah.
Right.
So cookies and murder are not the same thing?
I mean, we can eat cookies and discuss murder next episode
That's a great
if you'd
idea.
like, but they do not go hand in hand.
Well, I'm learning, okay?
That's a great idea. Cheese for thought, eating cookies, and discussing murder.
Yes.
On March 30th, 1958, there was an estate auction where they sold off the remaining things of Ed's and the families that they could find.
Who the fuck would want to buy that?
You'd be surprised.
Like, that weird dude that we found out murdered people
I'm sure
with
it
a
goes
skin
for
suit.
tons
I might
of
bet on that
money.
skin suit later. Like,
You'd be surprised at what people want and are interested in. They also sold the land that his house was on. So this is July of 1958, Ed's car gets bought and is featured at several fairs across the state. The car was bought for $760, and it was.
How much was that?
At
How much is that in today's economy? We should look that up.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say this was
like in the state fair. They like
Here,
brought
I'll look
it
it
to
up
the
real
state
quick.
fair.
Yeah, they brought some miscellaneous like city fairs and everything, so for people
Was
to
this
like
in
look at.
1940?
What the
This is
fuck?
1958.
That's the most Midwest shit I've ever heard. Let's bring a serial killer's fucking car to the state county fair.
Hey,
because people are probably gonna like to see it.
I saw Ted Bundy's car.
Oh, the Beetle,
In
right?
the
You had a
Crime
Beetle, right?
Museum, yep, in Pigeon Forge, and they had O.J. Simpson's Bronco there too. So people will pay
Did
good
they
money
have the
to see the car.
gloves?
No, they had his golf set though.
Oh, he golfed.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know he golfed.
he was an avid golfer, I believe. So,
Okay, sorry guys. I just had to look this up because it was bothering me. So $760 back in 1958 is worth $8,278.37 today.
What kind of car was it? What car? Did it say what kind of car it was?
no, it just said Ed's car from the website that I found.
I'm kind of curious to see what he drove.
I'm sure we can look it up. though.
Yeah, definitely look it up.
So the current whereabouts of the car remain a mystery today after it was shut down and labeled as highly
It's still
inappropriate.
touring during like the fair season. It's just a beat down piece of shit car in the back of the parking lot that you've
Next
never
to the
seen.
other
Yeah,
ones?
that you've never seen move every year you come to the fair.
All right.
Any hoozles.
So then on November 7th, 1968, a new trial begins for Bernice Worden. Ed is found guilty. And then on July 26, 1984, Ed Gein dies of complications from his lung cancer in Mendota Mental Health Institute and is buried in the Plainfield Cemetery. People would often come visit the headstone and chip it away to keep a piece of it as a souvenir. And
Why?
People are
People are
sick.
fucking weird.
And then in June,
Get a
2000
hobby. My God.
That's their hobby.
That is their hobby.
Yeah.
That is their hobby.
Get a different one.
In June
What,
2000,
got a first date. What's your hobby? Chipping.
gravestones.
Gravestones.
Yeah, incense.
All right,
All
not
right.
interesting.
Well,
Or
we're
not
gonna-
interesting. Like swiping
I
left.
think there's a patch
It's
for
left.
that when you're a Girl Scout. Like, how many graves can you chip apart? Here's a badge. Congratulations.
It's a Girl Scout. It's a little badge of just like.
What is that? I chipped a grave.
Oh my God.
If I was on a date, I'd be like, all right, well, I gotta use the bathroom. And then, like, find a window to fucking jump out
Oh,
of.
for sure. You can take the bill. I'm out of here.
I'd rather jump out the window into a dumpster fire.
In June of 2000, the whole headstone was stolen.
Holy crap, it took that long, though?
Yeah. People just kept chipping it away until I guess it was
Did
like
they
a
ever
little
find
nug,
it?
maybe? Yeah.
They did find it,
Yeah,
okay.
It was later recovered in 2001. They found it in Shane Bugby's possession. He was the leader of the Ed Gein fan club.
All right.
So did they put it back or is it still not there?
No, it was then placed in storage and his grave remains unmarked to this day.
Well, he kind of deserves that one, honestly.
But I think his parents are buried in the same one, and they have headstones.
I think I've heard the same thing.
They have headstones.
Yeah, if it's like right next to each other, it's just an empty grave. It's like, oh, I wonder which one that is. That's the brother that no one liked, and it goes.
So that's all I got for tonight. So whatever, you guys have any thoughts, concerns, your takeaway of the story?
No, I mean, you did great for a first episode. You did awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That shit's crazy though.
I know.
Like,
I didn't even know he had a brother. That was the thing that got me the most, was the fact that he reported him missing, was able to lead him to the body, and there was no sort of burns on him whatsoever.
well, yeah, you'd think that the police department would be like, well, that's kind of...
You think,
That's
but
kind of different. Like, are you sure you don't know anything about this, Ed? No, I don't. I found him like that. Okay, yeah. Well,
on your property?
Right. Yeah,
like,
well,
I'm
see you at church on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like,
baffled as to how he got away with that one. But, yeah, I hope you keep listening to us. And, yeah, it's been real.
Swissy on the flip side.
peace out.
Bye, guys.